Crushing reality. Danielle Smith admits Ottawa still holds power over Alberta. Danielle Smith's recent remarks acknowledging that Ottawa still holds significant control over Alberta have triggered a wave of public frustration and political recalibration. Just weeks after the April 28 snap federal election, which saw Mark Carney's Liberals return with a minority government, Smith's admission has reopened old wounds around provincial autonomy and rekindled debate about the fairness of Canada's federal system. For many Albertans, Smith voiced a deeply felt grievance that has long simmered beneath the surface, a belief that, despite economic contributions and political assertions, Alberta continues to be treated as a subordinate in Confederation. The timing of Smith's comments is crucial. The 2025 election was supposed to be a turning point, especially for Western provinces eager for change. With Pierre Poilievre narrowly defeated and Carney claiming victory, the hope for major federal reforms shifted back to the realm of negotiation. Smith, once viewed as a fierce defender of Alberta First policies, stunned supporters by admitting that provincial plans remain constrained by federal oversight. Whether it's pipelines, health care, or environmental regulations, the levers of true authority still reside in Ottawa. Her candor drew praise for honesty, but also concern over the province's actual influence in the national decision-making process. For many, Smith's words confirmed what they already suspected. Alberta's wealth is extracted, its industries stifled, and its voice diminished. The energy sector, a cornerstone of Alberta's economy, continues to face delays and resistance due to federal climate targets and regulatory red tape. Despite producing a significant portion of Canada's natural resources, Alberta often finds itself sidelined in national policy conversations. Smith's acknowledgement that Ottawa maintains the upper hand highlights a stark imbalance, one that leaves many feeling disillusioned about the future. Mark Carney's approach to federalism so far has been one of cautious unity. In his first weeks as Prime Minister, he has emphasized the importance of cooperation and national cohesion. But this message rings hollow for Albertans who feel that collaboration has historically meant compromise on their part. Carney's pledges to support infrastructure and energy innovation are seen by critics as vague or conditional, with no clear steps toward reducing federal interference. Smith's frustration underscores a larger fear that her government, despite its electoral mandate, will be forced to work within a rigid framework set in Ottawa rather than shaping its own future. Pierre Poilievre, who campaigned on decentralization and provincial empowerment, has echoed Smith's concerns from the opposition benches. Though he lost the election, his base remains energized, especially in Western Canada, where demands for greater autonomy are intensifying. Poilievre argues that the Constitution must evolve to reflect modern economic realities and regional identities. He frames Smith's admission as proof that the current system is broken, one where power is hoarded by a distant capital while provinces are left to manage the consequences. His message continues to resonate with voters who feel alienated from national institutions. Meanwhile, Jagmeet Singh and the NDP advocate for a balanced model, one where federal standards coexist with provincial experimentation. Singh's position aims to preserve national equity in health care and education while giving provinces room to innovate. However, critics argue that such a model still places Ottawa in the driver's seat. For Alberta, where economic urgency and regional pride are tightly linked, the NDP's more measured approach may not satisfy calls for bold action. Smith's comments have thus placed pressure on all federal leaders to clarify where they stand on the boundaries of provincial jurisdiction. The Bloc Québécois, led by Yves-François Blanchet, has seized the opportunity to draw parallels between Alberta's frustrations and Quebec's historic struggles for autonomy. Blanchet has long argued that centralized control undermines the unique aspirations of diverse regions. He now finds unexpected allies in the West. While Alberta and Quebec differ in language and culture, both share a growing dissatisfaction with federal authority. This emerging alignment between Western provinces and Quebec nationalists is unusual but increasingly relevant in a country grappling with internal fractures. At the heart of the matter is a fundamental question: who governs Canada's future, the provinces or the federal government? Smith's admission suggests that, for now, real control remains with Ottawa. Whether it's setting carbon caps, negotiating trade, or managing immigration levels, the federal government retains the constitutional muscle to override provincial preferences. This reality not only challenges the notion of cooperative federalism, but also reveals how fragile provincial independence can be in practice. Smith, once confident in Alberta's ability to chart its own course, now finds herself constrained by the very system she once promised to challenge. This admission has also triggered anxiety within Alberta's business community. Investors watch closely when political leaders signal limitations on policy freedom. If Ottawa is perceived to dominate every major decision, it could disincentivize long-term investment in Alberta's industries. From agriculture to oil and gas to clean tech, businesses want predictability, and autonomy often means the ability to offer region-specific incentives and rules. Smith's remarks, while transparent, may complicate her province's efforts to position itself as a competitive and confident economic player. Public reaction has been emotionally charged. Supporters of Smith appreciate her honesty and see her statement as a courageous attempt to galvanize resistance. Others view it as a concession, an admission of failure to deliver the strong provincial leadership they expected. Online forums, town halls, and political panels are flooded with debates about next steps. Should Alberta pursue constitutional renegotiation? Should it push harder against federal mandates? Or is cooperation, however imperfect, still the best path forward? These questions now dominate the political landscape across the province. For Smith, the path ahead is fraught with both opportunity and peril. Her credibility as a defender of Alberta's autonomy rests on how she responds to this moment. If she allows Ottawa's dominance to continue unchecked, she risks losing support from her conservative base. If she chooses confrontation, she may deepen national divides and provoke a backlash from Carney's government. The stakes are high, not just for her political career, but for the broader shape of Canadian federalism. This is more than a policy dispute. It's a defining test of leadership and vision. As Canada moves forward under Carney's minority rule, Canada's federation faces renewed scrutiny. Danielle Smith's blunt admission exposed deep tensions over Ottawa's grip on provincial powers. While this control may offer short-term stability, it risks long-term national division. If Alberta and other provinces can't assert real authority, calls for reform or more drastic measures will intensify. Smith may have sparked the next chapter in Canada's battle over power, identity, and control.